You're welcome. In this video, let us understand how to create and run PHP first project. We'll explain completely what are the prerequisites, how to configure, how to create the pages, how to write the code. We'll show the source code also. Therefore, after completing this video, you could be able to make one small website, that is a dynamic website in PHP. First, let us understand what are the prerequisites for PHP to run the project. So basically we require exam server. So exam will have three products. So one is, this is the Apache server, and then PHP, then MySQL. So in order to run this, we require a server, that is Apache. Then you require a language, that is PHP. Then MySQL is the database. These three are very important. First, let us understand what is PHP is all about. And if you notice, install the exam server in your system, we have a video. So in this video, you will explain, like we already explained, how to install the exam server. So please watch this video, so then install the exam server in your system. First, let us understand about PHP. So PHP is a general purpose scripting language, especially suited for web development. So any web application, so you can use the PHP, and then you can write the program. It was originally created by Danish-Canadian programmer Ramous Ledorf in 1994. It's almost 26 years back. Fine. PHP is a server-side scripting language. It is used to develop static websites, dynamic websites, and web applications. So static website means it's always same actually. So if the home page, so let's say ABC company, right? So each time you open, you'll have the same page and there is no change in that. That is actually what you call as a static websites. So small companies, they want to give information about their company, so then they can make static websites. So in that there is a main page with some pictures and all. Then you can see that if there are products, they'll show what are the products, and there may be a contact page. So in this case, we'll have address over here. Fine. So this is what every time you open the website will be there. But when you come to the dynamic website, so it's totally different. In case of dynamic, so here the detail changes. For example, if this is a banking website, and if you log in with your user ID and password, and you can see that your transactions can be visible on screen. So what are the recent transactions happened? So it will be shown. That means how it happened. So it go to database. So here is the database. From the database, it'll fetch the informations and it'll bring to the page. If the other customer logs in again, so each details will come. So whereas in static pages is constant, whoever get into this website, all see the same pages. Whereas in case of dynamic website, that's all depend on the person who logs in or depends on the page you are watching. So it's keep on updating. So you are maybe at Facebook pages or Google search, all are dynamic. Then web applications. So apart from the dynamic pages, you can build the applications also. So application will do the particular purpose. For example, let's say calculator. Right. So if it's a web calculator, so this calculator will open on the screen. So therefore you can use this calculator to do the calculation. Then you can improve this to scientific calculator. Then you want to BMI, that is a body mass index calculator. Your conversion, currency converter. So lot of calculations based applications are graphical applications or voice applications. So all these kinds of web applications. So we can use this PHP to build this kind of applications. PHP script can only be interpreted on server that has PHP installed. That means in order to execute this, PHP need to be installed in that system. Okay, top 6 advantage of PHP. What are the advantages we get from the PHP? So easy and simple to learn, so it's not too difficult. At least you spend some time and then you can learn the PHP easily. Depends on your background. It takes little time. If you already know some languages, then easy to learn this language quickly. Then extremely flexible. So flexible means it's not too hard to learn and too hard to implement, and you can do a lot of things. All required in order to make a web applications. Everything is provided that, and also very easily you can use that. Therefore, it is a very flexible, easy integration and compatibility. So compatibility is like it will run almost all kind of devices, all OS. So therefore, it's a lot of compatibility. Efficient performance. The performance is really good compared to other languages. Cost efficient. So because it's free, then cost will not come into picture. Gives web developer more control. So therefore when you write a program, you'll have a control on your website. PHP is mainly focused on server-side scripting. So you can do anything online such as collect form data, generate dynamic page content. So all you can do it in using the PHP. PHP can be used on all major operating systems, including Linux, many Unix variants, Microsoft Windows, Mac OS. So therefore, it's a OS independent. So therefore, you can use in any OS. So therefore, if you use PHP, that is the one advantage you are getting. PHP also has support for most of the web servers today. This includes Apache. So Apache 1 we are going to use here. Apart from this, you can see IIS from the Microsoft. So this is the IIS and many other. So even new web servers. So this will support for that particular servers also. One of the strongest and most significant feature in PHP is the support wide range of databases. Even it support for the different databases, MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle, Microsoft Access. So like it will support for the different databases. Writing database enabled web page is incredibly simple in PHP. That will show you like how easily you can write the pages. Today there are around 20 million websites that use the PHP. So therefore maximum people are using the PHP. The PHP script can easily run on any device like laptop, mobile, tablets and computer. So that means in any device if you can able to run the browser, so you can even PHP will run in that. Actually if you talk about like, so that will run on the server actually than the end user. It means, so we already know like PHP need to be installed in that system. So that generally we make a server. If this is a server, and where PHP is installed and we have a Apache server and any device connect to this and request the pages. So any of pages will be converted into HTML format and will come to your device. Therefore, it may be a TV, it may be mobile, laptop. In all the places, your what are the code we read, website we written PHP will run actually. Okay, so let's understand MySQL. So exactly what is MySQL is and what are the advantage of MySQL. What is MySQL is a database management system. It's a database management system to store the data. What are the features? So it's a RDBMS software, so relational database management system, easy to use. So therefore, if you know SQL language, easily you can use the MySQL. Why MySQL is so popular? Why people are using the MySQL? It offers advanced features and reliability for beyond typical freeware project. So it's not only freeware, but beyond that, what are the essential requirement all will be provided in the MySQL. In addition to being a free, another very appealing aspect of MySQL is it's a open source. Open source means the code, the MySQL code is available for the users. So who are interested, they can download, they can modify, they can improve. So therefore, the advantage is here most of the companies will take the MySQL. If they want enhancement, they want to add up something to that, they can always do their own. So they don't need to depend on the own main company. Now let's understand what is the difference between SQL and MySQL. SQL is a query language. It's a query language, whereas MySQL is a relational database that uses SQL to query the database. Okay, so therefore, so it's a language. SQL is a language, and MySQL is a complete database. Now let's look at the advantage of using MySQL. So data security, you can secure the data. Scalability, scalable means if now your data is only limited, let's say there are 500 customers, but immediately you record 5,000 customers. So like you will increase to 5,000 customers. So the scalable will be very easy. High performance. So performance wise, it's really good. Round the clock uptime. So therefore, it will not give you any trouble. Your system is running, your MySQL will run. Comprehensive transactional support. It'll support for all kind of transactions. Complete workflow control. So Workflow means how the data flows from one place to other place. You can have a control on this. Reduce the total cost of ownership. So again, it's a freeware, so therefore you can get the free software. The flexibility of open source. Even MySQL is open source, but now it's not completely open source because it's moved to Oracle. That we'll explain in the next slide. So what we presently going to use is a MariaDB. So it's exactly the MySQL that I'll show you like what it is exactly. Okay, here it is. So MySQL has founded Michael Wideness, what generally called as a Monty, in the year 1995, around 25 years ago. Sun acquires the MySQL in around 2008. In 2008, again Oracle acquires the Sun Microsystem. So therefore, this MySQL now belongs to Oracle. Now Oracle is a commercial company. So therefore, they're always looking at the commercial way of doing the business. So therefore, what this Monty or Michael Wideness is done is they started working on MariaDB. They called us one more database name called as a MariaDB as a fork of MySQL. So fork of MySQL means because they already have the complete source code of MySQL and they are only developing this. Therefore, they rename it as a MariaDB. So this is a MariaDB, and then so they'll started a non-profit foundation called as a MariaDB Foundation in 2012. MariaDB was named after the Monty's daughter Maria. So why MariaDB name? So there is our daughter name is Maria, therefore the database name is MariaDB. So here on this, wherever we say MySQL, it means that it is a MariaDB. MariaDB because it's a free, it's a open source. So we can always download the source code of this and then you can work it on this. So therefore, so we always use the MariaDB here also. So whenever you reference MySQL also, it's mean that it's MariaDB only. So if sometime if you say MySQL, assume that it's a MariaDB. So if you're not yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. So in YouTube, please go to iBlix tutorials or search for it. And then when you click your videos, we'll have a lot of videos here. And here is a subscribe button. Please click on the subscribe button to subscribe. And then, so in order to install XAMPP server, here is the video, XAMPP installation. And you want to install Notepad++. So here is a Notepad++. You can download the Notepad++ because we use Notepad+ as an editor here. And you can configure the Notepad++. So apart from this, we have many other videos too. So please, when you're free, please check out our channel and please subscribe to our channel. Right, now let us understand each step by step. So the first step is you need to install the XAMPP server. So therefore you need to install XAMPP. So anyhow, there is a video how to install XAMPP. So I'll just brief it again. So to install this, you have to go to XAMPP download. So from your browser. So it'll take to Apache Friends website. So you can see that we have a, see this is 8.0. So you can able to download the 8.0 here. This is a PHP 8.0. Okay. Please download this and then you have to install into your system. For Linux, you can download from this. For OX, XAMPP for OS X. So for this, like that. Okay. So therefore, you need to install this version. So from this, you can download. So even you have different editions here. So look at which one is suitable. Probably this is the correct one, PHP 8.0. This is the latest one. So you need to download the latest one. So this is PHP 8.0 and you have to download here and you have to click on the download button and you have to download and then you have to install. That is the one step. So next step is you need to do the installation. Download, then you have to install. So second one, you require a Notepad++ as an editor. Okay, it's a simple editor and a lot of features it's added. So again, go to browser, download the Notepad++. Notepad++ download. So this is from notepad++.org, and if you click here, so it will take to download link, and here you can see that you can download for this particular version or whichever the latest version available. So please download the Notepad++. So next thing is you need to run the XAMPP. Run XAMPP. How to run the XAMPP? To run the XAMPP, go to search, type XAMPP here. So you'll have XAMPP control panel. Click on this. And here Apache and MySQL, now you're in the green color, but in the beginning they are in gray color. And you can see here start and start. Okay, you have to click on the start. So in order to run the XAMPP control panel, you need to start both the Apache and MySQL. So in the beginning it is start, here also is start. Click on that, then it'll show as a stop. It'll show as a stop. Now you can stop it, or we can close it also. Right. So that is what the one more step you need to do. You have to run the XAMPP control panel. Fine. So even I close, it's still running here. So no need to worry. So next step is where to write or where to create the folder. Where to create the folder, project folder. So here we have to specifically create the project folder in the particular location. That is where you are installed XAMPP. So inside that you need to check it out htdocs. Sorry, htdocs. You need to create there only. I'll show you that. So you have to go to system. Now we are installed. It's in C drive. I take to C drive, XAMPP. Then here you can see that inside the XAMPP folder there is a htdocs. Okay, you need to open the htdocs and you have to create the folder there. So here I created a first project demo. So to create the new folder, click new folder and then give the folder name. The folder name is done. Therefore, you must have to create the folder in htdocs only. htdocs. This is the important step you need to follow. So then once your htdocs is ready, then we'll write the first file. So that is index.php. You have to create index.php. So then I'll demonstrate and I'll show you like how to do the index.php, and then we need to create tables. So first you need to create the database. That database you need to create in the phpMyAdmin. Then you have to create the tables. All I'll show you like step by step. So please follow this video. So here is the index.php. So what you have done is this HTML file here. You can see that is completely HTML. So what we done here is there is a head. So let's say first project. Right. So then we'll have a background back to.bmp. So for background we are using one small dot picture, so that will come as a background. Then here is a table. So then we write as a welcome to our site, and then click here to continue. So when you click this particular link, it will take to the main page.php. Therefore you need to create the main page.php also. After that, so on the right side we want to show some picture, so therefore is the d2.png. There is a picture. So pictures, generally we need to make a folder here, and here is a d2.png. You need to create the picture. So in order to create the pictures, you can easily create it in the paint. Okay, so you can edit in the paint. So let's say I want to make some changes here. Okay, let's draw a line here. Okay, perfect. So I'll change the color. Right, so now I can save this. The picture is changed. You can see that the picture is changed, but immediately sometime it will not affect, but I'll just refresh and I'll show you. So this is what the index file. But here what we have done is we are importing one head file. So therefore PHP, we are including the PHP tag here. This is PHP, and even inside the PHP also we are using PHP tag to indicating that this is a PHP code, because in PHP file you can use both HTML as well as the PHP. In case if you are using PHP, you need to write the tag less than question mark PHP and then question mark greater than. That is what is required. In between you can write the PHP code and then include headfile.php. So we created one more headfile.php. This is because like we have multiple files. When you have multiple files, every time you need to put the top heading and some links and all is required. So instead of creating again and again, we can put all this content into the separate file, and this file we call in every file. So here what we have done is, this is the first project, there is a title here, and then body background here, again we will have the background here, and then we have a logo here, logo1a.png. So this will be called inside the index file. So this is the advantage of the head file. Otherwise we can at this particular line, because here we have only one image on the top, so otherwise this table we can copy this and we can place in the beginning. Once the body is over, we can place it here only. We'll do the same job, but so that code has to be repeated in every file. So therefore, in order to avoid this, so we put it in a separate file. So then whenever you open this file, this code will automatically called into this particular file and will open. Okay. Now let us understand how to run this particular file, the particularly index.php. So in order to run this, so what you have to do is you have to go to localhost. When you type localhost and your control panel is running well, so you'll come to this particular page. Means everything is all right. Next, what you have to do is your project folder name. So this is the first project demo. You need to copy that, and instead of dashboard, you need to type your folder name, project folder name. Okay. In this case, first project demo. This is what important. Localhost / first project demo, whatever the folder name you're given, and then you have to use that one. So when you use the folder name, don't give spaces, maybe it gives you some problems. So in the beginning, avoid that one. Right. Now you can see that you have a first project, welcome to our site, and click here to continue, and here you have the picture. So that I shown already. So this is 8 file. So in the 8 file we have a logo1.png. This is the picture which will come on the top. I'll show the images. So this is the image. So this is the logo1.png. I can able to open in Paint. This is the picture, and this picture will come because of the 8 file. Next, here is click here to continue. So this will come to from this code, and welcome to our website. That will come from this particular code. And on the right side we'll have images dg2.png. So this is what the dg2.png, that is a picture. Now when I click continue, it will take to the main page. So let's see that what is the code in main page. So here is the main page. Here is main page.php. So let's open it in Paint. Sorry, Notepad++. So where was blank spaces, I'll remove. So here also you can see that include headfile.php. We are including that. Then you can say table body is equal to 0. Height, first one row is empty. Then what we have done is, so one more row is empty. Then here you have 2 columns. Sorry, it's only 1 column here. Fine. So then inside the column href admin login.php. Then image, there is an image here, admin login image. So let's look at how it looks. So here is the one image, this is another image, this is another image. For that, all the 3 we have a link here. Okay, these are the images. These are the 3 images. When you click this image, you should go to cust login here, cust sign up here, and admin login here. So therefore we have anchor here. So in anchor code we are adding images, or we are using the images. So when you click image, so you should go to corresponding pages. So when I click admin login, it should take to the admin login page. When I click on customer sign up, it should take to the customer sign up. When I click on customer login, it must take to the customer login. For that, this is the code. So this is all HTML code. Hope you understand, you know this. So otherwise you need to learn all these things, then you have to implement it. Fine. So this is the thing. Now when you click admin login, it will take to admin login.php. Admin login.php. So now I'll show you, like when I click this, so you can see that this is admin login.php. Here is admin login, username, there is a text box, password, there is a text box, and there is a button to submit. Right, so now let's see the admin login code. So here it is. So include headfile.php. This is commonly we are using every pages, that's right. And then on the top there is a table. Inside the table we have a tr. Then form tag is used here. You can see there is a form tag here. So we have a button here at the end, that is a submit button. Right, so then here is a login. So when you click login, it will take to the admin main page.php. Right, so here is the text box 1. So this value is empty. This is the input text, and here is the text box 2. This is of type password. So therefore whatever you type, it will be stars. And here is the text you want to display. After typing this, you need to click submit. So it will call this file, and this data has to go to the database, and then it need to be cross verified. Now the next important step is you need to create the tables. Now let's understand how to create the tables. Okay, what I'll do is first I'm going to drop database, first database. I already created. So what I'll do is I'm just going to drop that one. Okay, I don't want any database now. Let's see that there are no databases here. Okay, fine. No database is selected. Okay, so there may be dummy test data. I'll select that one. Fine, assume that presently we don't have a database. Now what you have to do is, so you need to create the database. First you write down everything in a text file. So here you see that create database, first database. Then you have to use the database. Or you click here, that will use the database. Then is the login table. Fine. So in case of login table, so this is create table, not database. This is a table. Inside this, there are two columns: username varchar50, password varchar50, and then we are insert into login tab values admin. Okay, first create the database. So copy this, select SQL, and then click go. So you can see that first database is created. Now click on this. So now that's selected. You can see that first database is selected. Next to create the table. So in order to create the table, select this and then paste and then click here. So table is created. Now you want to insert the data. So therefore you can see to you have semicolon at the end. Once the statement get over, there should be a semicolon at the end. So come back to this and then paste it here. We can paste all the code at one stage, that will do the job. But in order to show you that I'm pasting one by one. Okay, so this is a one more table. This is a customer table. Username, password, customer name, address, mobile number, email, approved. And there is a one more table called as a FAQ table. Question number, integer, question, varchar50, answer, varchar50, and we are inserting first row here. Okay, now I'll copy everything. I copy this and then I'll paste it here. Go. Now if you click first database, you can three tables: customer table, FAQ table, login table. Three tables are there. Now this is important, login table important, because when I try to log in here, I have to give admin. So now here you can see that if I give admin, it should allow me to log in. Now I don't give login on admin, I'll give something else. So it won't me take to the next page because I'll cross verify and it'll not take to the next page. If I give admin, then if I submit, it'll take to the next page. Right? So what is the code you need to write? So for that, so it's a admin page, edit in notepad. So this is what very important, add file.php, this is common. Now you're using one more file called the connection file.php. This connection file is to connect to the MySQL or MariaDB. I'll show you that file first. So here is a connection file. So in a connection file, we have four variables. MySQL host, this is a local host. That means you are run from the same system. If you are running from a server with the static IP address, you need to give the static IP address here. And username, root, by default username is a root. By default there is no password, therefore we are not using the password here. And the database name is first database. So we already know we created as a first database here, so therefore that is a name, first database. So same name is given over here. Now we say connection, $connection, so this is a variable name, is equal to new MySQLi. MySQLi is a system function to connect to the SQL database or MariaDB database. So now we'll use all the four: hostname, user, password, and database. So there are no problem, then this will connect to the MySQL. From there again we'll come back to admin main page. So then we'll start the session variable is started because we want to store some values to the session variable. So this is the session start. Then if $_server request method is equal to post. So request method is equal to post when you post this page. Okay, so here say you have a submit button. Here is the method post, that is in the admin login. So when you say post, it's post to this particular page. So therefore this method is post. So it's mean that the data is coming from some other page. Then what we do is we'll read the text1 value to the my username and text2 value to the my password. My username, my password. What are the values you enter, that will be transferred to username and the password. Then we have a SQL statement here. Select username from login tab where username is equal to my username, and password is equal to my password. This is a statement. We'll make the statement now. Next, what we'll do is we'll execute the statement. We'll say result is another variable. Connection, we know connection, okay, it's SQL connection. Once you execute this, it should connect to the backend MySQL and it should execute this query. And then we'll close the connection, and what are the result, what are the return values will be there in the result. Now we'll check the result. If result is greater than num underscore rows greater than 0, that means number of rows greater than 0 means there is a record. If there is a record, what we do is we'll store this user ID into the login user, and then header location admin main page 1.php. That means automatically we redirect to the next page. So this page we redirecting to the this page. This is what the code header location admin main page 1. So otherwise, so we'll redirect back to admin login.php. So we'll bring back to the admin login. We have collected the error message, but we can display it. That is possible, but we bring back to the admin login.php page. Okay. So therefore now once you log in, so here you can see that you are into admin main page 1.php. You are in this page. Now here what we can do is, so let's insert some data like general FAQ. So what is the common questions people ask? Okay. So how often you are updating your site? Update your site. Right. So this is the question commonly people are asking. So therefore the answer is we update regularly, daily basis. Fine. So this is answer. When I click save, so again this should send to the this particular table. So there is a FAQ table. Now you can see that there is only one row here. So when I save this, this data should come to the this particular table. Now let me click on this FAQ table. Now you can see that how often you are updating your site. We update regular basis. Okay. So now we are able to send the data from the page to the that SQL server. So now we done this. So this is admin faq.php. So I'll take to that page admin faq.php here. So open in Notepad++, and two files. You can see the common files we are using here. Then here is the, now in the login page we have post method in the separate file, but whereas we are storing both HTML and the processing in the same page. So this is the PHP code and here is the HTML code. So now you can see that if $_server request method is equal to post. So now first time it is not post because it's not posting. So only when you submit the button, so here you can see the method post, then we'll call the admin FAQ. So again when you call second time, then the method is equal to post. So therefore when you posting the data, then only it will work. Otherwise first time when you open this page, this code will not work, and straight away will go to HTML page and it will display here like question text box 2 and answer text 3, and there is a submit button. But when you submit this, after entering the data, when you click submit, so again it will come back here. Now the method is post. Then t1 is equal to 100. There is a variable, and then here you take the text2 value to the t2, text3 value to the t3. Next, what we do is we want to generate the next number. This question number, no. Initially 1001, now it should be 102. In order to make this, we say select max of question number plus 1 as m number from FAQ tab. Then we'll execute this, that will go to result. So then we check if row is equal to result fetch row. It should fetch the row. That will come to row. From the row, we'll read the value to the T1. So else there is no records, then T1 is equal to 1001. Now this is to generate the new number, this code. Next code is to insert the data. So here what we done, insert into FAQ tab values T1, T2, T3. Now you can see that there is no quotes on both the sides for T1 because it's a number. Here we have quotes on both the sides because this is a text. T2 and T3 are the text. $T2 because all the variables has to be start with the $sign. Next, if $connection query SQL that is equal to 3 equal sign true means it's successfully inserted, then there is a message record inserted successfully. Otherwise there is an error message that will be collected. Fine. So because of this code, this data will go to the database. So we'll come to the database. Okay, I'll go to admin main. Now here is also FAQ list. So when you click list, what are the data is already there in the table, we'll fetch that and will display on the screen. Then how do we do this? So this is admin FAQ list. So let us go to admin FAQ list. Here it is. So open with Notepad Plus. So again you can see the two files are you're using. And here is important, okay? Your PHP starts from here. There is a table before that, and then PHP. So select start from FAQ tab where question number is equal to 1001 you have to give. So order by queue number, because I don't want to show the 1001. 1001 is empty, right? So 100 is empty. So sorry, 100, okay, is greater than 100 means 101 has to come. So this query has to be executed. Once you execute this query, it will transfer to result. So from the result, because we need to each row, we are using the while loop. While row is equal to result fetch row. Fetch row means it should read the first row and go to result. From the result, we are translating the row. So see the PHP advantages. A lot of things we can write it in a single line itself. So this is the beauty of the PHP. Therefore, PHP is so popular. Then we say row of 0. Row of 0 means first column. Row of 1 means second column. Then row of 2 is the next column. So therefore row of 0, 1, 2, we read the column values and then we are displaying. So therefore this is how the data will be displayed here. Now if I refresh that, sorry, why it's both went. Let me check back again. Here is greater than 100. Okay, I have not saved here. Let me save this. Fine. So 1001. So you have the result over there. So next the customer list, but any customer not yet logged in, no? So therefore customer list will not be there. It's empty now. There is no customers. Now what we'll do is we'll open one more window. To open once again, you have to copy the localhost and the first project demo. So let's paste here. So you'll go to main page again. So it is in the main page. Now click here to continue. Now you have a customer sign up. So you need to click on the customer sign up. So here is a simple page, customer sign up page. So now you can see there are 6 fields are there. So you should match with your database. So here is a customer table and see the columns. There are 6 columns are there here. Okay, so customer tab and here also columns, like the one more is approved. Okay, that is also is there, but that dummy data we are passing to approved. So but 6 are important. So these 6. Now let's check out the customer signup.php. That code I'll show you. Customer sign up. So here it is, and Notepad++. And here we have written the script language. This is a JavaScript here. So JavaScript is used to check whether you enter the data or not. Second, you will check whether you enter the correct mobile number or not. Next, we will check whether you enter the correct email ID or not. So therefore, we are adding script also here. So PHP, HTML, JavaScript, even you can include the CSS also. So all we can put it in the same page. And here is a post method. So that means when you submit the page again, this code will execute. So otherwise, it will execute only this. This is the HTML code. So customer code, password, customer name, address, phone number, email ID. And here we don't want post spaces. Let's remove this. Then you'll have a submit button. When you click save, it should return validate. So it will come to return validate and it should execute this. Alright. So now let's enter the data. So user ID I'll take as, okay, let me take as a user ID and Chinnaswamy number, then mobile number. So here I'll take the mobile number, then email ID gmail.com. So if you don't take correct mail ID, okay. So I think his number is wrong here. So now it's text 4, text 5, but here for email ID it's text 7 actually. It's supposed to be 5 here. Okay, so then it's supposed to be 4 here. Okay, now next time it will work. But anyway, now you can see that in the database. So if I go to customer tab, so it's saved here. Right, let's take the wrong email ID only because we are not valid in the front end. Otherwise, okay, data is transferred to table. Now you can able to log in. And if you look at the code actually how it is inserted, I'll show you the code. So here PHP error message, then server request message go to post, then we are transferring all the values to T1, P1, T2, T3, T4, T5. All the text box values will go to corresponding variables. Then we write insert into customer tab, SQL dot will continue, or you can write in the same statement in a single line also. Here is the values T1, P1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and Y we are including for the approved. And if that is equal to true, I mean everything is correct, therefore it's inserted, then we'll take to customer login.php. Otherwise we'll show the error message. Right. So now we have a login, submit. It's like just like admin login only, same code here also, except the table name. So customer login, edit, right? So here you can see the user ID, password that will be posted here. Text one will go to my username, text two will go to this one. So in the admin we are using the login table, but here you are using as a customer table. Is the username, password, and if everything is okay, then we'll take to customer main page. So therefore we reach the customer main page. Now if I click FAQ list, okay, so there is a FAQ list.php that is not showing. It says that it is not available. Fine. So what we can do is, so this admin FAQ list is already there. What I do is I just copy and paste. So this admin FAQ list, I just call it as a FAQ list. Right. Now you need to make small changes here. Okay, go to FAQ list. So it go to admin page. So instead of admin page, you should go to customer page. So therefore you can say customer main. Exactly check out what is a customer main page. This is the customer main page, because once the page is already done, only link has to be changed now. So just link is changed. Now refresh this, click FAQ list. So you can see that FAQ list will appear. So click customer main, will come back to this. Now click logout, so will come to main page. So in admin main page, sorry, customer main page, here it is. So we have two links. One is FAQ list. I should go to corresponding this file, and logout, you should go to index.php. Straight away will go to index.php. So we'll continue again. There are options, so then you can continue with this. So therefore, not to execute this, what are the things you required? So first thing is exam server, then notepad++. You have to run the exam server. Then you have to create a folder in the htdocs. Then you have to create the index.php file. Then you have to create the database. Then you have to create the tables. Then you have to write all the code. Okay, this code will make it available in a GitHub. So we'll provide the link in description. Please check out in the description. So it's available. If you wish, you can download this code. So please subscribe to our channel and encourage us to bring more videos. So your subscriptions will definitely help us to bring more videos. Okay. Thank you very much.